you have in your hands the annual report. And this is a heavy, dense reading, but I challenge you to try because there's so much nice information, good information here. It really represents a lot of effort, not only by the CDCB staff and board, but also by all the community that is engaged in this system. So this has been put together, and it's so well written that I'm not going to go through all the facts that are here because you can read and you can learn much better from the report. But basically, you're going to have a full menu of different types of information about who is working on what, and what are the groups that are helping us to progress, what are the projects that we have, and basically what are the challenges that we are facing for research and development, for implementation of new traits and these kind of things. So first of all, my sincere thank to our board, because this board has been visionary, has put together a really efficient business model that has brought us here, and they are really committed with the cause of CDCB and the industry as a whole. So in the name of the staff, we're very, very, very grateful to have this board. So you'll find this kind of numbers in the report. I'm not going to repeat everything there. What I'm really here to talk about today is our strategy. So we have been deeply committed to discuss where CDCB is going, not by itself, but with all the partnerships, all the members. And these past 2 years have been intense in discussions, in planning, and in implementation of new projects and ideas. So just to remind you, I showed you, or actually, Lindsay showed you this picture last year. What are the priorities that have been identified by the community around CDCB? It's basically invest in collaborative communication. Oops, how can I go back? Okay. Data quality and integration, which I'm going to be talking in more detail here today. Technology, infrastructure, also training and resources. We know that human factor is the key to move anything ahead. And of course, we need to be always paying attention to the demands, what the industry really needs, what is the portfolio of products that we have to offer. So these are the priorities that we have been trying to address. This is a very busy slide. You also have this in your report. But this is what came out of these discussions. We had a workshop last year in August in which we had representatives of all sectors of the industry. And these are pretty specific. And they are basically pointing towards the direction that the industry needs to go. So addressing all these points at the same time is really challenging. We're doing our best to structure our group and also our partnerships in order to adapt to changes. So, for example, we have improved our administration by bringing a business manager that have made my life very much easier than before. About developing talents, we continue to invest in new young talents that are becoming part of the team, but also investing in our internship program that is a really successful initiative. This year, again, we had 3 brilliant students with us. You can read about them in the report. The diversification of portfolio is something that is a consequence of everything else that we do, but we are looking at how we can diversify market presence and customize our products. And again, everything CDCB does is through the membership, through the breed associations, through the DRPCs, DRPs, through the NAB members, through the nominators. So everything we do is really working together with this community to find the solutions that the producers need. Foster innovation. So we have been identifying individuals that can bring that kind of new talent to the CDCB. We have brought a new Chief Research and Development Officer, John Cole. So we're stepping up our internal research and development. João will be talking to you later. Also, Chip Donaton has been hired to be a visionary for us on the software development and data structure, and so many others. So we are trying to bring into the group that kind of talent that we need to keep up with the times. Communication. This here is a consequence of us having now an outreach specialist and outreach strategy. And you probably saw the presence of CDCB much more in the past 2 years because Katie has been leading that effort together with Luke East. Also, data streams. This is a big thing, and we will be talking more about that in a while. Branding. Also, there are materials here about branding. I'm not going to talk about that because somebody else will cover that. But it's something that is important because what our brand means everything we do because of the data we get from the producers. So we need to make the world know that this system is only possible because we have the data coming from dairy producers, and they are engaged in maintaining a system like this. So this is important for us to continue to talk about. And of course, partnerships are always the only way ahead. Nobody can do anything alone. So in terms of data, the National Cooperative Database purpose, you saw this slide last year if you were here, but I will go again through this because it's the reason why we are doing what we are doing. So what we want with this database, we want to sustain state-of-the-art research. So why US is in the leading place in terms of genetics, in terms of animal improvement, because of the data. Otherwise, we wouldn't have research. So the database is a starting point. Of course, USDA has been tremendous. It's been really something that the work that has been done in Beltsville with the data that the producers provided, it's something unique and brought us here over the past 40, 50 years of research that has been done there. But they needed the data. And what we're going to do, develop data-driven processes, genetic evaluation, and other types of products. For what purpose? To empower dairy producers. I mean, okay, well, this is used also to sell semen, to sell embryos, to sell cows. Well, but this is all for the benefit of the dairy producers. We want to have the best possible information available so that our community can grow. And then we want to be sustainable, and sustainable in all aspects, economically too, not only in terms of environment, and manage the business based on the information that come out of this system. This is also a picture that you're going to see in the report, and it's basically telling us how sophisticated the system is for data collection and data flow and data processing. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but basically we can see here how many actors, how many companies, how many people are involved and engaged to make this system work. So CDCB is just the steward of this database, but the data belongs to the producers, and the data is only there because there are a whole bunch of other sectors that are working directly with the producers to make it happen. So this integration, this collaboration is a fundament of what we do. So what we need to do for this data, we need to continue to aggregate data. I mean, we cannot just sit and say, well, we have the best database, the largest database, and this is going to be there. No. We need to continue to stay relevant and attractive for producers to continue engaged. We need to certify the quality of this data. We need to maintain and do proper integration of this data into the system so that we know that the data can be used properly, enable research and development, as I said already, and ensure that our services are still relevant. I mean, the type of evaluations, if you read this report, again, I'm sorry to go back to the report, but it's just a way for me to have a helper here. You will see a lot of things that have been implemented that you say, why are they telling me that? This is kind of an internal thing, you know, why are you telling me that you had to put another digit in the database because you would approach 100 million animal IDs, and if you didn't have another ID, another digit in the database, basically we will face something similar to the year 2000, in which the computers will stop because we didn't have a place for more animals, you know. Well, this is very internal. This is not something that you should be talking about in public and all that. But that shows how much work is constantly happening so that the system continues to be relevant, continues to offer the most efficient and the most, let's say, valuable products to the producers. And of course, we need to deliver the services, and delivery is, again, something that depends on our partners. And I don't know why we are seeing the same slide again, but one thing that is fundamental, and this is a picture of our team, and as you know, it's growing, and I already told you that in the beginning, and it's growing because things are getting more complex, and we need to address more things. Fortunately, we have the means to do that because the business model that has been put together by the board is very successful. And all these guys are working for you, working for this industry. I mean, you have here 16 PhDs. It's not so easy to get a company small like ours in which you have most of people with a doctorate degree. We have also 3 master degrees, and we have people that come from USDA, which are unique in their talents and their knowledge, that we were fortunate enough to be able to count with them, because they bring not only the history, but all this knowledge that is important for us to have in the system. So basically, this is an organizational chart. You see how many different areas or departments that we have to take on in order to make, at the end of the day, evaluations available for the industry. So when we talk about processes, that's where I want to, how am I doing in time, okay? Okay, so I can take my time here. That's what I wanted to do. So this slide is a bit busy as well, but I wanted to show you that this is how our vision is, to what we need to do to achieve all those goals that we had from the community when we had a strategic plan. So obviously, CDCB, oh, sorry, I have to show there. CDCB governance is very important, and we have a board that is extremely committed and always pushing the staff to make sure that we have the answers that the sector needs. So the first step will be, okay, we need to aggregate data. So we need to continue to get data flowing into the system. So for that purpose, we said, well, it's not CDCB that has to deliver this message that people have to send data to the National Corporate Database. It's the whole collaboration, because the data doesn't come to CDCB. The data go to the HIAs, the data go to the RPCs, the data go to breed associations, and then this data go to the National Cooperative Database. So we need to work together. We need to have a unified or integrated message to go back to the producers and to say, look, we really appreciate that you are participating, and we want to do our best to continue to provide value back to you and continue to have your support. So we are working on that. Also, we need to have incentives. So we are talking about that. How our incentives are working right now. Right now we have an incentive program for people that consume genomic products or consume genomic evaluations. Well, many people that send data to the database are not consuming genomic products. So we need to find another way to also include those producers in our incentives program. So we are talking about that because this is important. We need to show the community that that we want them to participate. Then we need to see, well, the data we have that we're receiving is the basis, is really what makes us, let's say, what we are. But there are new needs all the time, and new data is necessary. So we need, for example, recently we added feed saved. Well, the effort to collect the data on feed intake and body weight and all that involved a lot of organizations, mostly research organizations, five universities and USDA, and it's a very expensive process. So this needs to be figured out, how we're going to get the data we need if that costs so much and requires so much investment in infrastructure, in people, you know. The same thing goes for lameness, mobility, hoof health. Now you're going to be hearing about milking speed. Milking speed also requires a special type of data to be calculated. We are engaged very much with the same group of universities also collecting now methane emissions. So all this new type of data requires a plan, requires an investment, requires a strategy. So this is really a key element of this process. Well, all this data that we want to bring in, and we already have brought in, it needs to be certified. Why it needs to be certified? We need to be sure that the data that we are using is reliable, is accurate enough, and we understand what the data means. So this is a long process that, for example, Quality Certification Services, which is a subsidiary of National DHIA, has been doing in the phenotypic data. CDCB has been doing a big effort also in certifying genomic data. PDCA also certifies the data that goes into the breed associations. Because we need to be fair, we need to be really committed to our community that whatever we deliver is based on data that is good. Well, if we want to have new types of data, if we want to have more data, we want to have data coming from different places, we need to also have a universal certification that includes other types of data providers. So this is a discussion that we are having too. It's a need that we have. The other thing is, once we have this data certified, it has to come into the system. Well, our system was built by USDA 30, 40 years ago, and it was based on one type of process. So the data would be formatted in certain file formats that most of you have heard of or have worked with. Well, we have to be more flexible going forward, because people are not going to take the time and investment, the resources to format the data for us. So we'll have to be flexible in receiving data in flexible formats. So this requires an investment in the infrastructure that we have in data ingestion as well. And then we have what we do with the data. So what I call the insight generation and delivery pipeline. Once we get the data in the database, what is going to be done? So we need a research and development, of course, and demand on that, and also changes at USDA, universities, and CDCB require that we have more internal research and development, and we share the burden of providing the solutions that the industry needs. So we're investing on that too. Deployment and validation process. I mean, we cannot minimize, we cannot underestimate the importance of testing before you send out something to the public. We need to be sure that the numbers make sense, the numbers match, the numbers are really what they should be. And this is an extremely expensive process, because we need to have people committed to do that all the time. So this is something that maybe most people don't realize, how much testing is going on before anything is released. But you do realize that sometimes we say, we are releasing this new feature in April, and then you receive another note, oops, we are not going to be able to release in April, we'll have to wait until August. Why? Because the tests told us, you're not ready, you know, and we have a lot of people from the industry helping us on looking at this data and saying, oh, this doesn't make sense to me, we have to double check. And this is really an important process. And then once we have that, then we implement and we provide the services. Well, guess what? These numbers that we generate, they have to reach the producers. How is that going to be? So we need to make sure that we have a delivery, publication and distribution system that helps breed associations, AI companies, DRPCs to receive this data in an efficient way, nominators to receive this in an efficient way, and go back to the producers. And then we can diversify our portfolio. So we have a lot of actions going on for this process to take shape. So you'll be hearing about producer communication campaign right after me. Amy will be talking about this. So I'm not going to provide you more details. We also have a task force now that is dedicated to create a new data providers incentives program. So we are very excited because we think that this can make a difference going forward for all of us. Also, we have been working on our brand marks, so you also be listening to hearing more about that today. John Cole will talk about the research and development and the strategy that we have established for the short and long term. And we have this big project going on. We are working with this company, IOTA. They're helping us to create our ingestion system or data pipeline to receive data. This is in the final phase of the first version of this system. So we hope to have, beginning of next year, already a new machinery for the data ingestion. We also have now recently, all of us have been worried about cybersecurity, so CDCB is investing on bumping up our strategies, and our goal is to become ISO certified for cybersecurity, not because we want to have a title or anything like that, but because to achieve that, we will have to have everything in place. Also, we are seriously discussing internally how all the software we need to develop for all these steps that we were talking about, how we're going to do, where is this going to come from. So we are developing a solution or solutions to address those needs, because we are heavily dependent on this kind of software. So, and finally, you will be hearing from Asha, also from João, about new trades coming that are in pipeline or in the research and development phase. So, takeaway. CDCB system continues to expand. In both scale, we're bigger. We have more people using our system. We have more numbers coming and all that. But in value, too. There are more people depending on our results. So we know the responsibility. So we know we're playing this important role in the dairy industry success. But this is only possible because of the dedication and engagement of thousands of dairy producers that contribute to the National Cooperative Database. National Cooperative Database is the key here. So to maintain the relevance of these services and also meet these evolving demands of the industry, we need to continually modernize and make these processes what the moment needs, what the technology allows, what the challenge tells us that we have to go. So, as I said already a couple of times, the insight or the foresight of these visionaries that founded CDCB, and some of them are still in this room, established a sustainable business model and ensuring the necessary investments for us to keep this going. So I know a lot of people say, well, CDCB is getting a lot of resources, financial resources on that. And the whole idea is that we have this to invest back in the system, and that's what we are going to do now. And some things were not done before because we were not ready. Now we're getting ready to do some of these investments that are so important for the industry. So this enables the industry to benefit from a pre-competitive support system. So this is what we are. We are here to work with everybody and make everybody look better using our results. So at the end of the day, all of us here want to empower the dairy producers and provide them the solutions they need. So together, we're not just preparing for the future, we are shaping the future. And this is what we are so privileged to be in the position that we are now. So as Alan Kay said, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. So that's what we are certainly trying to do here. And thank you very much for everything you do for the support of this industry, and count on CDCB for anything that will empower their producers further. Thank you very much. You are going to have a very good program, a lot of information, and please ask your questions, not to me, to the others, because certainly we are here to have a conversation. Thank you.